أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. We're going to continue on today with the 17th flash, the 15th note on page 187. Mariam and Rayan, whenever you're ready, please begin and get close to the microphone so your voice can be heard nice and loud. Thank you.
15th Note. This consists of three matters. The first matter, this is the verse, and whoever has done an atom's weight of good shall see it, and whoever has done an atom's weight of evil shall see it, which indicates the fullest manifestation of the name of preserver. If you want proof of this truth, All-Wise Qur'an, look at the pages of the book of the universe, which is written on the pattern of the clear book. You will see the maximum manifestation of the divine name of preserver and many things similar in many ways to the supreme truth of this verse.
For instance, take a handful of seeds of various trees, flowers, and plants, which are like the small coffers and are themselves like it keeps going though. For instance, take a handful of seeds of various trees, flowers, and plants, which are like the small coffers and are themselves all different and various. Then bury them in the darkness of simple and lifeless earth. Then water them with simple water which lacks balance, cannot distinguish things, and runs wherever you pour it.
Now come back in the spring, the arena of the annual resurrection, and look. Note carefully the time in the spring when the Israfil-like angel of thunder calls out to the rain as though sounding his trumpet, giving the good news of the breath of life being bred into the seeds buried beneath the ground. You will see that under the manifestation of the divine name of preserver, those seeds that resemble each other and are all mixed up and confused confirm perfectly and without error to the creative commands proceeding from the all-wise creator. They confirm so exactly that in their growth a brilliant consciousness, insight, purpose, will, knowledge, perfection, and wisdom are apparent. For you see that those seeds which all resemble each other separate out and are distinguished from one another.
For example, this tiny seed has become a fig tree. It has started to spread the all-wise creator's bounties over our heads. It distributes them, stretching them out to us with its hands. And these two seeds, which are superficially the same, have produced the flowers called sunflowers and pansies. They have adorned themselves for us. They smile in our faces, making us love them. And this sort of seed has produced fine fruits. They become shoots, then trees, whetting our appetites with their delectable taste, scents, and forms. They invite us to themselves. They sacrifice themselves for their customers so that they may rise from the level of vegetable life to that of animal life, and so on. You can make further examples in the same way. The seeds developed in such a way that the single handful became a garden filled with multifarious trees and flowers. There was no fault, no error among them. They demonstrated the meaning of the verse. So turn your vision again. Do you see any fail?
Through the manifestation and bestowal of the name of preserver, each of the seeds preserves and shows without confusion or defect the legacy inherited from its parents and organs. This is a certain indication that the preserver who carries out this wondrous work will demonstrate the supreme manifestation of his preservation at the resurrection of the dead and last judgment.
Yes, the manifestation of preservation is the thus faultless and without defect, insignificant, fleeting, transient states is a decisive proof that the actions, words, and good deeds and bad deeds of man, the holder of the supreme trust, and vicegerent of the earth, deeds which have an eternal effect and supreme importance, are precisely preserved and will be subject to account.
Does man suppose he will be left to his own devices? God forbid. He is destined for eternity and for everlasting happiness and perpetual
misery.
He will be called to account for all his actions, small and great, many and few. He will receive either reward or punishment.
Witnesses to the maximum manifestation of preservation and to the truth of the first mentioned verse and are beyond count or calculation. Those we have shown in this matter are a mere drop from the ocean, an atom from a mountain. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save that which you have taught us. Indeed, you are all knowing, all wise.
Thank you both for a wonderful reading. And that is the end of the first matter of the 15th note. That was a very well articulated reading. So I know a lot has been said. It was 2 pages, and just wondering, is there anything that stood out to anyone while Mariam and Rayan were reading? Or if Mariam and Rayan, you just want to share out some things that stood out to you, noticing, an observation, or something that's popping in your head, a keyword or anything, feel free to raise your hand, and then we can go on step by step. Or if something doesn't make sense, because I have a lot of things here that I'm like, wait, what is it? So anything really, if something doesn't make sense, express out. If something was exciting, express out. So I'm gonna give you guys a few seconds. Feel free to raise your hand. Anyone? All right, I guess people are thinking it's good. Yeah, actually this, I don't know about you all, but this is a dense text. Definitely the author is saying a lot here, and most of the times I'm like just scratching my head. I'm like, what is he talking about? So what we can do is really take our usual step-by-step approach. So we can start off with the beginning. So the author starts off with a verse, right? And this verse is really something, and whoever has done an atom's weight of good shall see it, and whoever has done an atom's weight of evil shall see it. And that is from Quran, chapter number 99, verse 7 to 8. Okay, so he's giving his understanding of what he understands from this. So let's see here. While you guys were reading, I was just underlining good, right? We all like good things. We all, want to be good. It's a good feeling. We all want to have a feeling of goodness, right? It's like when we get a good grade on the exam, we feel good. And when we study well, and we feel good as well before sitting in on the exam. So, or even after a good workout, we feel good. Okay, so that's the feeling of good. And an atom's weight. So atom, what is an atom? I know some of you are taking science, some middle schoolers or whatever. If you're in elementary school, doesn't matter. Do you know what an atom is? And if yes, can you shed some light? Anyone? What is an atom? Nobody? Smallest particle. Yeah, from what I recall, from my prior middle school studies, since I deviated from biology sciences. So the last time I took biology was really in high school. So what I remember was atom is the smallest particle of matter. And Miriam is saying technically everything is matter, so nothing cannot matter. Okay. That's a good joke, but yeah, you're right. Everything is matter. I like that. And at any time, please, we want to hear your voices, so feel free to raise your hand. Everything is matter. So whoever's doing really a tiny piece of good shall see it, and whoever has done let me see. There's some things on the chat. Is the raising hand icon is not working today? Made of matter, okay. Okay, so yeah, it's something that's made of matter. And whoever has done the smallest weight of evil shall see it. Okay, anything that you're wondering about just reading this verse? I mean, I shared out some of the keywords that I was looking into, but is there any concept, any idea that's occurring to you? Tiniest thing is case. Okay, so small be good or evil. So how even what is that's the first manifestation of the name of preserver. And so if you want proof of this truth of the All-Wise Qur'an, Oh, can you hear me now? I think I'm heard now. Yes, okay, perfect. Sorry, some technical issues going on here. Connection problem, right? It's amazing. One has to be grateful for this means of communication, right? If it's not working, then no one can hear anything. We just realize even the technical side of anything in existence. The smallest matter, right? It's the smallest matter. I'm like, yeah, I'm connected. You know, I'm just making some phone calls. I'm speaking to loved ones, but alhamdulillah, yes, we're back in business now. So I don't know, what was the last thing I said? Can someone remind me, where did we leave off? What was the last thing you heard so we can pick up from there? I was okay. Okay. All right. So we were going over the verse and then checking in to see what the author is saying to us here. If you want proof of this truth of the All-Wise Qur'an, look at the pages of the book of the universe. So here's my question to people in the group here. Do you see the universe as being a book? If so, how? I hope you guys can hear me, because I feel like my connection is really low. Did everybody get that question? Can you repeat, please? Okay, so my question is, do we see that the universe is a book? If so, how? Go ahead, Mariam. Oh my God, I'm so excited to see a blue hand up. Yes.
So just to clarify, your question was, how do we see the world? Do we see the world as a book, or how do we see the world as a book?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try to answer it, but I don't know if I 100% got the question. But if I got the question correctly, then I think it just depends on if we can connect with the world enough. Like, some people can just think of the world as, oh, it just happened and it'll end one day. They could think of it that way, or they could look deeper into it. That's what I think.
Good one, yes. So in other words, we do see that the universe is a book, like you're saying. This is so, I'm sorry, it's just the Zoom is acting all, I don't want to use the word weird, but it's something that it's doing things that is beyond my control. Anyways, as long as we can hear this thing, that'll be okay. Yes, LOL is right. And okay, sorry, I just need to fix this up. Okay, so yeah, so the universe does, it seems like a book. I mean, I'm just going off of what Miriam said in terms of, oh, it depends on how I see it. Well, if I see it in terms of, you know, this morning I was made to experience morning time, the sunrise, birds chirping, and then I recall that last night I was made to experience dark sky. I don't seldom get to see any stars or moon in geographically where I'm located, but suddenly there was darkness, and then, you know, there's light. I see sun shining up here today, and so someone's video is on. What is up here? Excuse me. Let's check up. Participants whose video is on. I see everyone's video off. Okay. All right. Thank you for keeping an eye out on that. So yeah, anytime, just make sure you are muted and camera is off, right? And if you want to say something, feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, so we were talking about, do we see the universe as a book? Yeah, I do see the universe as a book. And does anyone want to add on anything to that piece up here? Because we're going over this text piece by piece here. So where the author is mentioning, Ali Marmar has his hand raised up. Ali Marmar, go ahead, please. If you had your hand raised up, did you?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to start the discussion. Now, it's a good question. How do we see it? That it is a book, the universe and everything, including myself, is a book. Because I'm communicating with it, and something there is beautiful, I love it. Ugly, I don't like it. And it gets cold, I complain. It gets very warm, I complain. When it is moderate temperature, I like. And there are also things that are going on there. I want to study them. I want to investigate them, how they are happening. If something has no meaning, it had no meaning, I would say, why do we bother about learning what is going on in the universe? If I am learning, it means all the learning institutions, education institutions, studies the universe and lets me know that there is something to be learned. Or if it wasn't meaningful, if it wasn't interesting for me as a human being, I wouldn't be able to try to learn it. But I know that there are lots of things to be learned. I would say the universe is more than a book. How did I make this very strong statement? Because a book has a subject, but the universe has endless subjects. Some people call it biology, some people call it physics, some people call it psychology, cosmology, I don't know, chemistry, you name it. Endless things are going on in the universe, endless subjects are there. Have you ever seen any book which has thousands of different subjects? It means it is not a book. It is multi copies of a book. And human capacity also has copies of the reading capacity, reading faculties in it. Oh, what a beautiful communication between me and what is out there, including myself. I see myself, I study myself as a book, but again, thousands of different aspects of human being, not only body-wise, but also human psychology-wise. Endless subjects are going on within my own very existence. It means there is an amazing things are going on in this world. That is what my conclusion. How one can not admit that it is not a book at all, meaningless stuff. It means just chaotic things are happening by themselves. Arbitrarily, things are going up and down, right and left. Oh, no, I cannot really prescribe to this idea. It is impossible. It contradicts my practical life experience. Thank you. No. Why am I?
Thank you. This was a good explanation of how, or even understanding of how to look into the universe in terms of being more than a book. I didn't think of it in that regards in terms of how many disciplines that we can unravel or discover. It's yeah, it's amazing because like we were usually, even yesterday we spoke about and previously as well, that human beings are given endless potentialities even within themselves, and similarly the universe itself is like a treasure. It's like one of those books that needs to be uncovered at every moment, where we interact with it and we sort of extract meaning, more and more meaning from different things. So thank you for sharing that. Is there anyone else? I know I saw Miriam's hand up. Miriam O, if you still have your comment that you want to share, please go ahead.
I changed my mind because Alideda covered everything that I wanted to say.
Right. So that's another example of how everything within the universe is diverse, right? Dynamic. Change is constantly happening. Alhamdulillah. So with this, is there anyone else who wants to make a comment? Let's check in with anyone else. Mariam and Ryan, would you want to share something? Right. Quite Sunday today. Alrighty. Mariam, go ahead, please.
Since no one else is saying anything, so I just decided that I would read the one note that that wrapped up everything that Alideda said. If I need to add on anything, then he can tell me if I need to, but this is everything that I understood. The universe is not similar to one book, but millions of books and subjects shoved into one book.
Wait, can you repeat that again, please?
Okay. The universe is not similar to one book, but millions of books and subjects shoved into one book.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for sharing this. Anyone else wants to make a comment on this? Yeah. Okay. Mariam and Ryan, anything on your end? Okay. And by the way, Ali Murmur is applauding. Thank you for that point, Mariam. Oh, okay. So at any time, anyone, feel free to raise your hand and we can move on to the next piece up here. Let's see. Okay, so what the author really is pinpointing for himself is that he's able to see the manifestation of the name of preserver. And by looking into the universe as more than a book, right? Because you're getting lots and lots of meanings from things. He's saying if I interact with the book of the universe, then I can get manifestation of the name of the divine name of preserver and many things similar in many ways to the supreme truth of this verse. Preserver, I'm interesting. I'm thinking about it. Something that preserves. So maybe my flash drive, I can back up some documents in there, or some cloud-based backup. I don't know. Even I'm thinking what comes to our mind when we think of preserver. What is being preserved? So let's go on. So anytime if anything comes up, we'll share in. So he says, for instance, take a handful of seeds of various trees, flowers, and plants. So Tulu, I see your hand up. Go ahead, please.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I mean, I'm still just trying to. So I'm still gathering my thoughts, but I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is a lot of religions say this. A lot of religions, not just Islam, says a variation of this thing, like, if you do good, you know, you'll you'll get good, and if you do bad, you'll get bad. In different ways, maybe not in the same way. And so it feels like this is not like a specific message for Islam, but like something I've heard in many different areas. Like, even if you don't follow a religion, even if you're an atheist of sorts, you still do good, because you believe in karma or whatever. People who do good get good stuff come back to them. So I'm still forming my thoughts around this, but it feels like this is not a specific message that's only found within Islam. I'll just stop there.
Oh, thank you for sharing this comment. Indeed, you're right. This is a human message. So as a human being, what do I see in my existence? What do I feel in my existence? And as a human being, I find myself with myriads of feelings, emotions, and senses, and we have endless potentialities. And so you're right. Even when we do an introspective analysis of the self, we are also interrelated even with the rest of the universe in terms of harmony. Even the sun rising or the tree just standing nice and tall, there is a sort of mutual relationship in terms of even our neediness, how needy we are to be sustained. And in this regard, I am even making sense of how the universe also becomes a meaningful book, because not only am I learning about myself, but I'm also learning about my surroundings. And so the various qualities that we see manifested, I know here the author is specifically mentioning preserver, but there are other qualities that we, experience on a moment-to-moment basis. But really the question is, how conscious am I of those qualities? So even the air that is brought about, even how the lungs are pumping, even the mini universe within ourselves. So yeah, we are a mini book as well. How we say usually, oh, look, check out the ecosystem of the universe. How about the ecosystem of the human being? So it's very, very interconnected. We have like so many fluids in the body, blood, and you name it. And similarly, we see rivers and rainfall, teardrops. I mean, it's all very much interrelated. So yeah, I agree with your comment. Thanks for sharing that this is a very human experience for all of us. Let me check to see, there are some comments here from Ali Murmur. Oh, I don't know. I see Ali Murmur. Is that a thumbs up, or you wanna say something?
Yeah, I cannot raise my hand because you host made me co-host. I don't need to be, but that's up to the host. Okay.
Okay.
That's
Go ahead,
why
please.
I did this. Yeah, I was using my thumb up in order to show that. Okay, this concern, Talu's question, is a very, very generally raised question among all civilizations, which means, look, I know that when I do something bad, I feel bad, and when I do something right, I say right. So I understand that I can be the criterion, I can be the yardstick of what is right and what is wrong, and I don't need a religion. Only those religions which claim that they are based their foundations are based on divine revelation, they say, they claim that the universe is not an agent. It is not active. Universe only acts under the desire of its creator. Universe consists of only matter. It cannot, just a matter. So it cannot really act by itself because it has no knowledge, free will, etc., power, anything. They are just subject to the order, which is the will of the creator. So when we look at the universe, including our own selves, human beings, we are created with this ability. It means I am given the ability to make the distinction between right and wrong. The universe is created in such a way that everything is preserved. Human beings are created with a memory to preserve what happened yesterday in the past. So I just keep them in my mind, but this is not my work. And what is going on in the universe, also as far as our main subject is concerned, preservation is going on here. Nothing is forgotten, nothing is left behind, and nothing ends up with meaningless, purposeless results. So yesterday, whatever happened, it is gone into non-existence. And today also, whatever is happening, it will go into non-existence by itself. No. Those religions, including Islam and Christianity and Judaism, which claim that they have received message, the representatives of the creators appointed by the creator of the universe, they have received messages. And in this message, the creator lets the human beings that whatever you do, I am preserving it. What? You are preserving it? It says, yes, as the creator of the universe, I am preserving it. Look at my action in your own existence, in the existence of the world that you are experiencing, you are observing. There are evidences for it. I am showing that I am preserving everything. So don't think, dare to think that whatever you did or you are doing today will go into non-existence. No, there is nothing accidental in this world. Everything is under my control. Everything exists as I want. Matter cannot give existence to itself accidentally. So what we understand now, that even I remember I am giving the ability what is right and what is wrong, but ultimately this ability is given to me by my creator. And this is the way I am expected to conclude that my creator is letting me know that he is the one who preserves everything in my existence, as well as in the existence of the things, especially living things out there, creating them. A tree which lives on, which is created in this world as an alive, living individual for 300 years, all of its life story is recorded in its small coffin, which is called its seed. So small, everything is recorded there. Who is recording it? Do you think the matter itself is recording everything so that when the tree dies, my following generation will remember me and will make it me again. How do they do it? Do they have knowledge? Do they have power? Do they have future planning? The tree, look at them. The animals, look at them yourself. I look at myself. I cannot preserve my regenerations. I don't know what's going on. I have 2 children. I didn't know how they came into existence. That is strange things, that attributing that I am creating, giving existence to my generations by preserving their whole life story recordings in a cell in my body. I am not aware of it even, how it happens. So strange. So from there, I conclude that it is a message from my Creator to understand, to let me understand that my Creator is the preserver. This message comes only from the divinely inspired, they call it heavenly religions. Heavenly religions, they call it. The others, what do they say? Universe itself is making. How can a rational human being endorse this claim? Matter has no knowledge, no consciousness, no sense of future. They are all slaves of the order of the universe, which is under the command of its creator. The order cannot design itself by itself. The order of the universe, how the things are coming into existence, nothing more. So we are studying that the speech, guiding speech of the Creator lets us know that he is recording everything, and you can be sure by looking at yourself, looking at the universe, and conclude that, yes, whatever I do, even as small as an atom, is being recorded, because the universe's creator is a preserver, not only a creator, not only a knowing one, not only an organizing, providing one, but also a preserver. That's a very important thing for me to remember, to keep in mind for myself, that whatever I do is recorded, preserved. For what? For what? If it is recorded, it must have a purpose. Now, we are only studying here that I have to understand whatever I do will be reserved in this world. That is my share. But as far as our subject is concerned, the further one, why are they recorded, is not the subject of this this text that we are reading. It is a good subject, but needs another session for it, not today.
All right, thank you for sharing that thorough comment. Yeah, it's interesting, because if we're referring to the universe as a book, and we are so vast also in our experiences and meaning that we're extracting from it, definitely, when we recall memories or experiences, it seems that there must be an conscious entity at play that's presenting me also with that which is preserved. Like, how do I explain the existence of memory, like you said? And also, yeah, now I was curious to know about things are preserved, but for what purpose? But okay, we can leave it for another time. Let's see, there was an interesting comment that I didn't get a chance to check in on the chat. Rania, I don't know if you are available to read your comment. Feel free to unmute yourself. If not, then we can have a volunteer read it out. All right, so we need a volunteer to read out what is on the chat. Let me see. Okay, yeah, no problem, Rania. So anyone who's available to read up the comment in the chat box? Mariam and Rayan. Assalamu alaikum. It's been a while. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good, excellent. So let's hear your voice. Can you please, one of you, read what's on the chat?
Okay. So I think the verse signifies beyond feelings, though. Feelings require that the ones who performs the action, good or bad, is in tune with the aspect of morality, or allows that elements of their existence to surface. However, the universe works beyond the concept of feeling. The good or bad that returns to us can take many shapes and forms.
Wow, that's deep. It's interesting. Yeah, good comment. Want to expound a little more on that? So definitely, we're given. Yeah, definitely. This verse is addressing to the human spirit, which is endowed with various feelings. And those feelings also emerge or come into existence also as a result of us interacting with the universe. Like you said, Rania, I'm just trying to elaborate my understanding from what you shared. So since my interaction with the universe is very live, dynamic, and so when I interact with it, certain feelings also are given existence, and so that's how I also get to know that these feelings that I get to experience are also not of the nature of this universe, as in they point to a one which is not of the nature of this universe. So I'm not sure if I did justice to your comment, but more or less that's that. If anything you want to add on, Rania, I know you're having microphone issues, so feel free to put it on the chat. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to say something, make a comment? Yeah. Okay. So at any time, feel free to raise your hand. Yeah, let's see, what else is the author presenting to us? So yeah, this was crucial right now, the name of preserver. And yeah, so then he goes on giving some examples about what we observe in the universe, where how everything is just interconnected in terms of coming into existence. It's really amazing, yeah, if we think about it, ponder more over the existence of everything. And I also like the example when he's giving during springtime, even like right now, it's springtime, and you know how everything is blossoming, coming into existence anew, although things are always coming into existence, but it's always a different manifestation of things that we see. Do you have a question here?
So something is preserved. Like I like this description of how the author makes about the example that he gives about the seeds. like, let me read that a little bit. So let's see. He says that if you observe in the carefully look at the springtime, when you see you have a handful of seeds and you put them on the ground, you bury them. So there's in those tiny little seeds, there's something that when they are coming in springtime and they're flourishing, they're coming out of the ground, those seeds break up and whatever is preserved in them starts breaking up and comes into life in a different form. So it seems amazing, actually, very powerful on how that is happening, that tiny little seed having something in it that is then unraveled, it flourishes. So same thing with the human beings, everything that are each moment of ours, we can see that we're like our soul is like the tiny seed, which has everything that we do is there's that potentiality which is preserved. And then upon when that right time is, once, upon our graduation, I would think, based on this example, based on this observation of how the universe is showing to me, I would expect that seed to also flourish and grow into something prosperous, like a huge tree. So very good example.
Yeah, thank you. It's very vivid. It's very experiential. How even whatever is encoded in a seed is also manifested in the tree or the fruits. So yeah, it's amazing. And
to add to that also, so that makes one wonder, and one has to really observe and wonder at how is that tree able to grow like that? What is there in that little seed? What makes it go like that, where it comes out as a tree?
good point. It's also interesting how the author is mentioning about there must be a purpose, will, knowledge, and wisdom. They are so apparent in it. So for even if when an author writes a book, first of all, there must be a conscious will behind it. There must be a purpose and obviously knowledge. So we see all that manifested in it. Similarly, in this life book of the universe that you and I experience here, it's also, if we ponder more over it, like you were saying, we get to see that it must be the result of a deliberate knowledge, will, and purpose. So yeah, that's an interesting point. And Ali Marmer, go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you. Now, in the following paragraph, almost the middle of the paragraph says, those seeds are those seeds that resemble each other and are all mixed up and confused. The rest is not I'm intending to talk about. If you found out that those seeds that resemble each other, and what does it mean? And if a person who studied even at high school level, maybe middle school level, they will say, come on, don't be ridiculous. They don't see each other. They don't resemble each other because their DNA are all completely different from each other. That claim is very widely popularized among the people now, and it is accepted by everyone because it is somehow demonstrated that DNA is different from each other. Every living being has a different DNA structure combinations. So they will say, oh, these people don't know biology. That's why they think that they are the same. Now, what the author says, even this kind of explanations or descriptions you can find in the Quran as well. Simplified version of speaking. Now, although the DNA structure is different from each other for each living being, that is correct, but the material of the DNA structure, material side of it is the same. I can imagine this in an example of an ink, right? I am using some ink in order to write something for you. Same ink, or more practically speaking, same pencil or pen, or same keyboard. I am using the same keyboard as you are using. I write another letter or another essay, then you use the same board, same keyboard, and write another essay. I use the same ink, write an essay, you use the same ink, write another essay. They are the same. Material side is the same, but what is written in the seed, DNA structure, is different. So if someone says, you know, they are not the same, DNA structures, the DNA, the combinations are completely different and very complicated. Yes, I agree with you, but the same matter is used. Either we will claim that the ink is writing different essays, or a conscious being is using knowledge and giving a shape to the ink so that so that at the end, there will become a different meaning transferred to the readers. It means knowledge is definitely needed in order to write different DNAs from the same material. So the material is the same, but what is written in the form of a knowledge is different. And every essay is complete within each other. It means every DNA is complete within itself. We cannot say that, for example, looking at a rabbit, and in the DNA rabbit, something comes out which cannot survive in this world. No, there's no such thing. Everything perfectly continues its existence. Every tree is different from each other, but we should never forget every tree is a complete, perfect being. What does it mean? Every essay is complete statement and consistent within itself. So we have to be careful that because the DNA structure is different, so the things are happening by themselves, which means, in our example, the ink is writing millions of different essays by itself as ink. Who can approve this? Who can endorse this idea? Any conscious being? I think we are being cheated. we are just deceived by certain ideology followers. We have to watch out. Thank you.
Good point. Thank you. Yeah, I was wondering about this last part in terms of how the seeds resemble each other, separate out, and are distinguished from one another. So, right, the physicality of it, the materiality of things may look the same, but really what's encoded in there is diverse. It's how, you know, it's different for each of it. Even like when we look at even several, let's say get a bunch of bananas or some oranges, no two fruits would look alike. There's always a little something there. They're all like unique the way they are made, but yeah, to us it's like, yeah, it's an orange color object or it's a yellow colored thing. Yeah, there we go. There's some black spots here and there, but each one of them, it's unique the way in its shape, form, size, and even taste, I would say. And the author does mention something about taste, doesn't he? Somewhere. Okay.
And the material has nothing to say on that. It has no consciousness. Just like the ink in the essay cannot write the essay. Nobody can make that claim. So none of that, whatever you're saying, Faria, about the material cannot do anything like that to encode any of the whatever the encoding is being done on what the outcome would be.
Good point. Yeah, even similarly, I see there are several Miriam here in this group, right? We may all look different. We have different voice, way of communicating. That's what makes us diverse. But at the end of the day, we are all connected through our humanity, human side, right? We think the same in terms of our neediness. We are so much in need to be sustained and in need to be given existence. So yeah, that's interesting. And Rania is saying actually you for the applause, but also thank you for the Mariam for reading. Yeah, I mean, basically applause for everyone. Thank you all, I mean, for helping out and sharing out your thoughts, ideas, and concerns. It doesn't matter who's sharing out. These are just human ideas and thoughts which are very valuable, so they're brought into existence and they ought to be shared. So thanks for pointing that one out. Let's see, is there anyone else who wants to say something? Mariam, oh, go ahead, please.
So the first thing that I wanted to say was something that you just touched on. You said like there are multiple Mariams here, but we have different voices and different personalities. Also, another way to think of it is we're all humans, but we're all very different. And the second thing I wanted to say is it was a bit further back into the good and bad thing. Can I still talk about that?
Well, of course, please go for it. Thank you for bringing it up. I think I missed it on the chat. Thank you. Anytime, just feel free to raise your hand and remind us. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So it was about good and bad being good being part of the program. So good is part of the program because we don't feel comfortable when we're bad, but we enjoy it when we do something good for someone else, like a good deed or something. We feel good about ourselves on the inside. And if we do bad, we sort of get this regretful feeling inside of us, and we don't enjoy it as much as we do with when we do something good. So that shows that good is part of the program and bad isn't something that we're used to doing. And when we do bad, something like as Totally said, so when we do something bad comes back. That's a message that tells us to not do that and think better next time. And it's just like a message and a lesson to tell us to not do that next time.
Thank you for the comment. It's actually interesting to put it in this perspective. Yeah, that makes also good sense that we are programmed in this way where we immediately within ourselves, we detect this sense within us. That's how, you're right, we're programmed. If I do a good deed, like helping out someone or a kitten maybe on the street, just we feel that the feeling is imparted onto us. And same thing if we do something bad, if we ignore something. I know I have time, but I choose not to help the kitten. I mean, I'm just giving some hypothetical examples. And yeah, we feel it within ourselves, like, this feeling would come, I should have stopped and helped out. But yeah, you're right. That's interesting. That's how the order of this universe is set up. That's how everything is set up. Even we get messages, like you were saying, when I'm given hunger, I'll go and fetch some food. When I'm given thirst, same thing, it's a message. I'll go and drink some water. Thank you, Mariam. And now I see Mariam and Rayan, your hand is raised up. Go ahead, please.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, whenever you're talking about the good and bad, like, I just want to say, like, have you heard the phrase, like, what goes around comes around? Like, meaning, like, whenever you do like, if you do something bad will happen to you. And I'm just saying, like, and then, like, let's say if you do something good may happen to you. So it's like messages coming throughout the universe, Yeah, that's what I just want to say. I don't know.
Thank you for sharing that, Rayan. That's wonderful, actually. Yeah, it makes me realize that that's what living is. That's life. Like you said, what goes around comes around. That's what makes us a human being, where, we really immediately, or sometimes if it's not immediate, but then it's a message. Things are like feelings, emotions, or anything, experiences are a message, and we kind of, get to see it again. So it's really for us to reevaluate the situation. So even with memories, if something may come up to us that, I forgot to do so and so. So it's a message, and then, we can go around and maybe rectify it. So thank you for sharing this as well. And yes, Tulu, go ahead, please. Thank you for being patient.
Yeah, thank you. It's interesting on this topic of good and bad. Sometimes there have been times when I have done something that is quote unquote bad with regards to what I was taught, in terms of like the rituals of the do's and don'ts of Islam. And it felt like I got away with that thing. I didn't. There was at least there was no like. Okay, for instance, I'm making it up. For instance, in Islam, we're not meant to drink alcohol. Say for instance, I was to go drink, have a cup of wine or something. It's not like a rock falls on my head the moment I start drinking wine. Like a lot of people are out there drinking wine, and like they're drinking and like they're not like having accidents in the next 5 minutes, or they're not like getting sick in the next 5 minutes after doing things that quote unquote are not supposed to be done within our religion. So, it's just for me a question that I think that happens for me sometimes is that, maybe I do something that's quote unquote not meant to be done, and then nothing bad happens to me, and then I almost get this feeling of getting away with it, almost like, see, God, I was able to get away with doing this thing that you told me to not do, and you couldn't, or you didn't like. I'm still here. I'm still alive. I'm still eating. I'm still healthy. I still have my job. So I don't see the retribution of this thing that I was not supposed to do in my day to day. So and then I get this feeling of I got away with it type of feeling, but then after that I feel guilt for doing that thing as well. And so it's just like this mix of emotions that that happened for me. And so this is like just like a practical example of things, thoughts that have gone through my head when instances happen where I've done things that were quote unquote not supposed to be done. I'll stop there.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this comment. You're right. Everything is happening within us. So all these feelings and emotions, like you pointed out, it's a message. It's signaling something. And so anything, it could be not necessarily rituals, but if there is a feeling that's coming within me, and if I'm questioning about it, then yeah, I need to pause for a second in terms of making an analysis. But most often time, like the results are, it's not immediately felt, but like sometimes it's the feeling that help us do this. So like in the example of if I'm feeling guilty of not helping out someone, so there we go. That's that side of it that like I think what all of us we need to train on is really listening to our human side, our human feelings, to pay more attention to them, and that should really put things into perspective in terms of how we go on interacting with the universe. So yeah, that was just my comment based on what you shared. Ali Marmer, you have your hand on. Go ahead, please. Hand up, I mean. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, not hands up. Okay, that's the only way I can do. Thank you. Now, quickly, we have to make the distinction between some requirements that the Creator presents to us through instructions, through the prophets, which are called rituals, religious rituals. These have different purposes. Not necessarily that they are bad or they are good, or it doesn't really require that aspect of it. It may be, but we do it. For example, I think the drinking alcohol, intoxicants, brought up as an example. Now, drinking alcohol a little bit may not really harm you, but they are addictive. They may be, but maybe it is not necessarily that you drank once or twice in your life, just a little bit, a little bit, not that you will get completely out of control, unconscious. So what's wrong with it? Because the purpose of religious rituals are the purpose is to practice the acknowledgement of our position in this world. Do I, for example, accept that my Creator owns everything, but I don't? I have to use everything, being conscious that I don't own them. It is not my property. I have to wait for the property owner to let me use his property. For example, during fasting, why do I wait until sunset? And the ritual says, as soon as sun sets, you have to break your fast. Why? Can I not make, because I don't feel that hungry. I may wait another half an hour. No, you have to, because it is a practice it is a way of practice of acknowledging the Creator and saying that this is my property, I offered you, acknowledge that without my permission, you cannot eat it. Only with my permission, you can eat it. When I give you the permission, you have to obey and eat it. It is a training of acknowledgement of the real owner. That is a different thing, whether it is good, whether it is bad. If you, for example, break your fasting 5 minutes before the sunset, is it bad? Physically? No, I don't think. 5 minutes after the sunset? No, it is not really that bad, or it is not bad at all. 5 minutes. A few days later, I will break my fasting 5 days later anyway, because the days are becoming longer. It means sun sets later than the previous week. But it's not a point. We don't see or we don't look for bad and good there. It is training. Training of acknowledging my Creator. That is the purpose. But on the other hand, this is rituals. We should never confuse rituals with the feelings that I have about something which is bad or good. That is my way of acknowledging that there are something good, there are something bad in this world. So I have to understand that the Creator is a preserver, preserves everything in this world for a purpose. This subject brings me to the last paragraph, which says, the one paragraph before last paragraph, does man suppose he will be left to his own device? Everything is deserved for a purpose. Watch out. Why? You understood from your own existence that there is something better, good and bad. You understood from your own existence that the things are preserved. So this bad and good are combined in this world, so that you will need a guidance. What is bad, what is good? Accordingly, you will make the decision with your free will to choose one or the other, and consequently, you will be taken into account for it. So we cannot think that I can do this is bad, this is good. For example, to kill an innocent person, everybody feels that it is bad, but some people still do that. Go to New York, go to Chicago, people kill each other. And there are these so-called wars, national competitions. They kill thousands of people with no feeling at all, under some banners. What does it mean? So everywhere you see bad and good is happening. So people steal, people tell lies, everything, everywhere is going on this, and they are recorded for a purpose. We have to understand that they are recorded, and this recording has a purpose. This purpose is necessarily going to take place in a place. That's why in sometimes, either here or somewhere else, definitely the Creator has his own plan to do that. You will, from there we understand that we are not going to be left on our devices. We will be taken into account. That is the conclusion of this text that we read today, as far as I understand. So we have to watch out for our choices. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Good point, actually. It makes good sense. Miriam, go ahead, please. Miriam.
So before we ended, I wondered if I could just share my notes.
Hooray, yes, please, thank you.
Okay, so my notes for the first matter, the 15th note on April 12th, 2020. My first note was the universe is not similar to one single book, but millions of books and subjects shoved into one book. I said that note at the beginning of class. My second note says, matter cannot act by itself. Nothing can make itself or anything else. My creator is the preserver. Matter has no knowledge. It is a slave of the order or program, just as we are. We are being recorded, our actions, thoughts, connection with our creator. All of those are recorded and preserved. If you write an essay and someone else writes an essay, is matter shaping itself to make different essays, or is a conscious being writing these essays? When you fast, you break your fast at a specific time. This shows that you accept your creator is all-powerful, and you listen to him when he tells you to eat, when to stop eating, and when to eat again. Bad and good are combined in this universe, so that you need a guide, which is usually your creator, to know what is bad and good. This shows that you have to go back to your creator with everything. That he is all knowledgeable. Everything has a purpose. And that was my last note.
MashaAllah, beautiful summary of what was covered. Yay, lots of applauses. Some of them you can't see, but yeah, alhamdulillah. Thank you. It's, yeah, just pondering also more on some of the points that were made. It's amazing, yeah. We are being recorded and everything, all the feelings, actions, they are being preserved, and that's amazing because it's all happening for a purpose. Alrighty, thanks again. Is there anyone else who wants to make any last comment or want to express out something in excitement? Feel free to do so. Raise your hand or a thumb up. Mariam and Ryan, yes, please.
Yeah, so like talking about good and bad again, like I just want to say, like, this is what I think. Like, there are two things that are like in this universe, like doing good and doing bad, and like that's happening all around us, as you can see here. Like, people can do either good or do either bad. So like, let's say there's like a robbery, that's bad, and giving charity to homeless is good. So like that kind of thing.
And I was gonna say that basically, you know how we were just saying that like so basically I was just thinking that like the creator gives us instincts of on Miriam's notes, how she said that sometimes we just get the choice of eating or not. I mean, that's what I was just heard. And so basically that's an instinct.
MashaAllah, thank you both for sharing this comment. Indeed, we are surrounded by all sorts of manifestation within the universe, and Ali Marmar is applauding. Yes, good job. So it's really, yeah, we have the choice. That's why the human free will come into play. So do I either choose to rob someone, or do I either go to school and then do something good, help out, I don't know, open up a nonprofit for a good cause, right? Like a lot of things that, people can choose to do. And also the whole part about our feelings or even instinct. Yeah, it's within ourselves. We feel it. Sometimes it's not apparent, but within myself, the human being, if I listen to myself carefully, then I can really get to know what is it that my source of existence and the creator of this universe wants me to do. So excellent. Yeah, also what meaning is being conveyed to me is just like we read a book, there's a meaning that the author is conveying to us. Similarly, the source of our existence is conveying certain meanings to us through our feelings and emotions and all that we experience. Alhamdulillah, very pleased with today's discussion. Thank you all for your participation and contributions. As usual, it's very valuable and much needed. Inshallah, next time we can start a new flash, the 19th flash on frugality, unless someone has some more points that they want to go over from what was covered today, so we can make that decision next Sunday, inshallah. Thank you all. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge saved except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you are all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhiru da'wahum anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Bi hurmati sirra surat al-Fatiha. Ameen.